Hi, welcome. My name is Pieter de Rooij and I made a range of clips around CRM in the performing arts, and this is the clip around customer segments. Here you can see what the other clips are about. Segmentation. I always make this difference in segmentation regarding consumers who are not your customers, consumers who are walking outside, and customers who are buying something and who are inside. So it's the inner and the outer world, and you can use different ways of segmenting these two types of consumers or customers. So you have this market segmentation, which relates to market segments of consumers, and you have this customer segmentation of customers. You can also use personas, which is an archetype of customer groups, and you can also apply this micro segmentation. I will getting into more detail later on. First question is, why would you need these customer segments? Well, the average customer does not exist, so it's important to differentiate between customers. Potential advantages are that your targeted offers and your targeted communication campaigns lead to more response. A possible disadvantage is obviously that you will need more costs. So there's always this balance between your expected outcomes, positive outcomes, profits, and the costs you will be making. I have a range of 7 customer segments I want to discuss with you. And this is the first one. This is based on RFM analysis, on recency, frequency, and monetary value. And this customer pyramid shows that there is, in this case, and it's a real life example of a theater, there is just a real small core audience consisting of, let's say, 3% of the customer database, representing people who attended the organization 5 times or more. The second way of looking at customer segments is that you can use this genre segmentation, which might be interesting to use. It's relatively easy. On the other hand, you do not make use and you do not consider that consumption behavior can be really heterogeneous. So consumers, they do not tend only to attend one genre, but many people will attend more genres. The third segmentation is related to a leisure lifestyle. And I have an example about this. This is an example of Rijksmuseum. They created these leisure lifestyles relating to creative and inspiring groups, enthusiastic customer segment, entrepreneurial, cozy, quiet, etc., etc. And it is interesting to use it in a general leisure context. However, if you would transform this or translate this to the performing arts context, it is too generic. So I think you really need to transform it and adapt it to a more specific performing arts context. The fourth segment is around these personas. Personas are an archetype of customer groups, a rich description. One example about the personas of the Rijksmuseum. So they have these 6 groups they use around, for example, the cultural tourists, and a description of this cultural tourist, an art lover, family with children, etc., etc. So this is interesting to use, especially when you want to change an organization from a product to a customer-centered view. The fifth customer segment is based on self-segmentation. It's possible that you allow the guest to make his own choices for content based on interest. So it's possible that you have a platform on the website where customers can say, I want this type of newsletter and I want to receive it, for example, every 2 weeks. The 6th group of customer segments are the campaign groups, and these campaign groups are formed around specific events, which might be, for example, buying a ticket. So when people buy specific tickets, it's possible to send these pre-emails about anticipatory pleasure, or maybe about upselling something, and afterwards about an evaluation of the event. The 7th one is the one-to-one approach, and which is really highly individual. Netflix is a company who is applying this tagging approach. So they tag these performances. They have these characteristics of movies, and based on these characteristics of movies, and also based on behavior of customers, they can really make their recommendations highly individual. Another example about this one-to-one or micro segmentation, you can also apply it on website. This is done by Chassé Theatre in Breda, where you have two customers. One customer attended the website yesterday and visited specific web pages and looked for specific performances. The other customer did also visit the website, but he visited different website pages. And it's possible, if these two customers are known with the organization, that you send these persons a mail afterwards. And this mail could be really highly personal, because you can relate it to the performances they watched on your website. So there is this number of customer segments. It's important to think about, okay, what are my goals? Where do I want to use these customer segments for? And in general, you can have three goals. So it's related to communication, overall communication. It's about communication around a specific event. And it's related to delivering differentiated experiential value. So I made this matrix where you can see these customer segments, where you can see these goals. And when you look, for example, to the RFM and customer pyramid, it might be really handy for these decisions made for sending your brochures. You want to send your brochure, for example, to your core audience and not necessarily to your incidental spectators. There is this possibility to use this genre approach, which is relatively easy but does not take into account heterogeneous behavior. There is this possibility of making use of these personas, especially interesting if you want to move an organization from product to customer focused. Really interesting. It's time consuming because you need a lot of qualitative data. And you have this one-to-one approach, which comes, in my opinion, closest to customer behavior and will be most effective sending out email, newsletters, or even on your website. And finally, there is this campaign group, which is really dynamic because it's only related to one specific event, to a customer buying a ticket. You can build a communication campaign around that specific event. Okay, this was the clip around custom segments. You can see what the other clips are about. If you're interested in research or executive trainings, you can contact me. Thank you.